for the sky, boy.
Tried to mount some offense right there, but shut right down by Jay Briscoe. Double deal into the ladder. No, blocked by Kenny King.
Titus pulled Jay out to the floor, preventing him from delivering that deal. Watch out.
All four men now on the floor.
Very dangerous situation here.
They're battling right behind us. Kenny King thrown to the floor with great force. And Titus driven back first into the barricade on the other side of the ring.
Again, Kenny King's head elevated into the barricade.
Jay with the advantage. Titus sends him into the barricade. Briscoes with the advantage. Suplex on the floor. He's going to go through this table here. Kenny King, chopped up knees.
Set up that ladder to begin the arduous climb to get the contract. It's been just about brutalizing your opponent.
You have to make sure that your opponents can't stop you from climbing that ladder by wearing them down first. And this ladder tucked up between the ends of the ring and the barricade.
Titus slips out of the powerbomb attempt.
Connects. They got this ladder set up right beside us, Kevin. The entire ringside area is a war zone for these four men.
Steel chair now introduced into the ring.
Throws that chair at Red Titus. And once again, Red Titus is at the mercy of the Briscoes.
He really is. And, all of us here at ringside are very wary about what a dangerous situation this is.
All four men said they wanted to be a part of this match, though. They know the risks going into it.
And every time, both times there's been ladder wars before the ring of honor, people have said never again. But then there's a situation like this one. Dave, you said it, where it almost means it does mean. To settle things once and for all between the All-Night Express and the Briscoes.
Threw it right into the chair, propped up between the turnbuckles in the corner. Briscoes showing that this type of match, they are right at home. And pointing to this ladder that's set up over here, keeping Kenny King on the floor. Red Titus knocked loopy after being driven headfirst into that chair. Still down in the corner.
Looks like the Briscoes are calling a play here.
He's lifeless. Trying to pull up Red Titus to do whatever the Briscoes have in mind for him.
I think I know why, and that's because it's like he's busted open.
He's driven into that chair head first. And now, backdrop no. Avoids being launched onto the ladder. Suplex. Blocking the attempt.
Titus is a bloody mess.
Who's going to be able to get it? Suplex off the ladder, back first. A bloody mess, but did the damage to his opponent. King with ladder in hand. What are they really thinking here? Wrapped around his neck.
Coming right at us, Dave.
Into the ring post. And the ladder just jarring the neck. Says Jay all the way to the floor. Mark on the other side of the ring, grabbing the remnants of that broken table. And uses it as a weapon as Kenny took that wrist and went to the floor. Axe handle off the apron by Rhett.
Fighting right over our timekeeper's table.
Backbreak doesn't phase him. Repeated punches from Mark Briscoe. Into the barricade goes Rhett. Kenny King with part of that broken table across the back. And a chair launched at him by Mark.
A kick by Titus as he continues. Good fight on. Jay Briscoe's been busted open now.
And no one has yet to even try to climb a ladder to grab that contender's contract hanging above the ring. Into the barricade goes Kenny King as Rhett trying to not only use the ladder as a weapon, but perhaps get it to the center of the ring and try to climb it. Repeatedly driven into Mark Briscoe in the corner, a bloody J measuring Kenny King.
It was right here in this very building at the conclusion of a tag team match where the ferocious war between the Oaklights and the Briscoes began to intensify.
Blood just pouring off of the faces of these men as they battle past us here at the announce position.
Massive blood loss from both Jay Briscoe and from Rhett Titus.
Sometimes it goes past a rivalry, and the hatred between two teams just can't be contained within a regular wrestling match or a street fight. You gotta have all these tools to play with: ladders, chairs, tables, anything you can get your hands on. And despite the blood loss, still with enough energy to grab hold of this ladder. He's gonna bring it out to the floor, it looks like. Rhett Titus! The ladder dropped right on top of him.
Mark and Kenny fighting on the far side. Jay and Rhett going up the ramp side now.
Suplex on the ramp. Look at that evil look in the eyes of Jay Briscoe. Mark with the advantage against Kenny King on the other side of the ring.
Looks like Mark got busted open as well now.
Mark just waiting for the right moment to dive off his apron and lights out Kenny King.
Senton dive by Mark as Jay continues to pound away on Rhett Titus. Now draped across that ladder.
Propped up between two chairs. Senton off the apron.
There is a reason why this is the third ladder war in ROH history and only three. Because of the physical carnage that is happening right here before our eyes.
And that first one was just as violent as this. And there's a reason why they said never again. But circumstances sometimes force you to change your mind. And all four of these men wanted this match, wanted this stipulation. Oh my goodness. Of Kenny King. Launching him over, head down. To the other side of the ring, Jay Briscoe grabbing this ladder.
We are thankful that for the fact that we have stayed on the air.
Well, the Briscoe supporters showing how sick they are. Hashtag Dev Boys. The Pretty Boy Pitbull, thus far the only one not to suffer a laceration as of yet during this match. They're going for that double heel. Oh my God! Just launched into the ladder.
The focus of the Briscoes on King has been his back.
Chair launched in the ring by Mark Briscoe, and Jay just choking away as the blood pouring out of his head. It was a sickening camera shot, so is that. It's just carnage everywhere you look. Chair dropped on top of Rhett as Jay just measuring Kenny King. Kenny King, the chair just launched at him as the Briscoes keeping their eye on the other side of the ring. Kenny trying to pull himself up. Chair in hand yet again.
There is a kick right into the face of Kenny King. The chair. And now Red Titus is somehow able to fight his way back to his feet. How does he do it?
Trying to continue to fight. I mean, they want to earn this title shot. They want to grab that contract. And the Briscoes just want to prove their domination in crazy matches like this, that they are the masters of the ladder war. To the floor went Mark Briscoe right there on top of Rhett Titus.
There is so much blood around the ring.
Headbutts repeatedly delivered to the head of Kenny King. Just holding him in position now.
And that chair sent right once again into the face of Kenny King.
Referee checking on the condition of Rhett Titus as he has lost a lot of blood.
Paul! I was going to see if Turner's is there any chance of him stopping this match? No. I can't imagine he would, but
the fans want to see a winner. The wrestlers want to see a definitive winner. One of these teams to climb that ladder. Spike J Driller possibly coming up.
Watch out!
Launched off the top rope. Super kick. I'm trying to get out of harm's way, Kevin. There is no safe spot in this building. It's not safe. Looking under the ring for another table, Kevin.
I can't believe this. I've never seen anything like this.
Pure craziness. There is another table here. Retrieved from underneath the ring by the All Night Express, bringing it inside the ring now. Hopefully they don't steal our table, Kevin.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh.
Two-man no bleed. Table set up in the center of the ring by the All Night Express.
Still needing to climb a ladder. Mark Briscoes' body through a table here on the floor, and now the same thing's going to happen to Jay in the center of the ring.
Teamwork from the All Knights. Blockbuster combination through the table. Despite all that, the precision for a springboard maneuver like that is incredible.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
Paul Turner now trying to drag some of the broken carcass of that table away.
Are either of the ladders in any shape to climb?
Well, that's a good question at this point.
Because the only way that this thing ends is someone grabs that contract. Well, Rhett Titus with looks to be the only ladder that is in any climbing condition. Bringing that inside the ring.
But are any of these combatants in climbing condition? They can barely stand.
The fact that Kenny could springboard to hit that maneuver through the table was incredible. Big running boot in the corner by Rhett Titus.
And now for the first time in the center of the ring, a giant ladder is being set up with the express purpose apparently to climb, to get the contract. The Contenders contract for the World Tag Team titles.
Both of the Briscoes down. Mark out on the floor. Jay slumped in the corner. The title shot within the grasp of the All Night Express as Rhett climbs this ladder.
Mark now coming back. How does he do it after everything he's been through?
Drop kicks the ladder and Titus tumbles down. Folding up the ladder, he's going to use it as a weapon again. Never mind climbing it. The Briscoes aren't done fighting. Swinging that ladder into his opponents.
Helicopter now for Mark Briscoe.
Takes away his own balance, but hey, got the job done. It did the damage to his opponent. It was very Terry Funk-esque.
It was. Right. Funk would appreciate such violence here at Ladder War 3.
Looking under the ring for perhaps more weapons, maybe another table. Another ladder.
Another table, another ladder. My God.
A ginormous ladder. Hopefully we've got about 6 more under the ring just in case.
What are these two crazy rednecks from Sandy Fork, Delaware planning on doing?
That's what everybody said during the first ladder war. It was crazy and this is just as crazy. Running boot on the floor delivered to Rhett Titus. And King sent to the barricade. That ladder is set up on the floor. Table as well. Grabbing hold of Rhett Titus. Jay Briscoe. Into the barricade, gonna put him on that table. I think everyone's thinking that right now. They'll take risks, especially Mark. Crazy Mark Briscoe will jump off anything.
Rung after rung, higher and higher. He's eye to eye with the balcony seats at the Manhattan Center. Titus
competitors at this point. The fact that any of them can stand is unbelievable. And this brought the All Night Express to this point because they decided to go in that ring truck, grab a ladder on the Briscoes.
That's all it took.
They wanted to play with ladders, and they're getting it right now.
Well, now that Mark Briscoe has used his own body as a battering ram, flying 20 feet in the air to crush Red Titus, Jay Briscoe going to begin to set that ladder up, but Kenny King fights through the pain he's enduring.
What does Kenny have in mind here? Fireman's carry. Elbows, though. Trying to fight it off. Jay Driller.
Here comes the Jay Driller.
Trying to block as best he can. Spine poster.
Right in the center of the ring.
Thankfully not on the ladder.
There is sawdust and screws and broken pieces of wood.
Of everything.
Of everything. Of ladder, of table. Human DNA, it's all in the ring. It's all around the floor.
Kenny King to the top.
Can King hit it? Shooting star match!
Unreal. Can that do enough damage to Jay Briscoe to allow Kenny to set up the ladder and climb to grab that contract, though?
He flew incredibly far to score.
Of course, he's grabbing his own midsection, sacrificing his own body to do damage to his opponent.
This is what the All Knights have wanted. They came close in June.
Setting up the ladder to climb. One more.
And there he is.
Ascending the ladder.
Kenny King just a few steps away from getting that Contender's contract.
Jay Briscoe back on his feet. He's climbing on the other side of the ladder.
The effects of the Shooting Star Press have weakened Kenny King to the point where he can barely climb the ladder. Somehow Jay Briscoe is able to fight through all he's dealing with to try to prevent Kenny King from getting to that contract.
Kenny, it's almost within his grasp.
How bad do the Briscoes want to become 7-time World Tag Team Champions? They got an opportunity within their grasp. Oh my.
Both men hanging on for dear life here. Oh. Series of shots from Kenny King. Down goes Jay Briscoe.
Kenny, can you do it? He's done it! They said never again after the previous 2 ladder wars. I have a feeling they will say never again after this one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Such violence and bloodshed from these men for the sake of just getting a title shot, man. A title shot.
That's what it's all about, the All Night Express.
And
They are signing that contract with their opponent's blood, the All Night Express.
ANX. Is that legally binding? Is it outside the contract? Has to be.
Austin Benjamin will await. Kenny King and Red Titus did everything they could.
They proved themselves what they did in this match.